Hello and welcome to the United Stand, Sunday Night Live. For those who saw the first stream, apologies. I feel really bad. I feel lonely now. I'm on my own. It wasn't meant to be like this. Not meant to be like this on a Sunday, but we'll go with it and we'll sort out the problems at another time. So, welcome to the United Stand. Lots to talk about. Lukaku will be official at some point, I'm sure. Maybe tonight, maybe overnight, who knows. We're less than a week away from the first game against LA Galaxy, the US tour. We'll talk about a little bit about that. The squad's going on the bottom. Obviously, I did the video earlier. But let's get straight into the transfer stuff. Move Lukaku aside. Rooney we'll talk about a little bit later. Perisic, he's at it again, liking other United players off on the tour. He's liked that, as has Fabinho. Put an Instagram post on his way to destination unknown, which we think is now Ibiza. That's not confirmed. But I do think Perisic will be coming to Manchester United. I've got to be honest, I really do. And I know I've tweeted before, and what I said before, I stand by this 100%. You can call me in the know or whatever, but I'll guarantee to you now, second name of the next signing will have an I in it, and I will be 100% right about this. You can tweet this out all you like. Next signing for United has an I in the surname. Take that to the bank, as I said before. But Perisic, I understand that United fans are a little bit uneasy about it. And you know what? If we were to just sign Lukaku, Lindelof, Perisic and Eric Dyer this summer, I would think that's workmanlike. That's real Mourinho workmanlike. A little bit uninspiring signings, especially when you think that Chelsea could go and buy Morata and Rodriguez, and even Liverpool could get Aubameyang, and Mbappe could go to Arsenal. I don't know what parallel universe I'm living in there. I think that's going to happen. Although Mbappe did like Marcus Rashford's post today as well, so maybe he's coming. We all know that's a load of nonsense when people like posts. But yeah, Perisic to United. Unfortunately, Alex can't be with us now because of his. We don't know what the issue is, but there was a lot of lag. But Scott Hutchinson says it's definitely Messi then. That wasn't the player I was thinking of. There's quite a few with an I in the surname. I was very tongue-in-cheek when I said it. A few it could be. Matic, Eric Dyer, James Rodriguez, Fabinho, Perisic obviously. There are a few with an I in the surname. But yeah, what was on about? So Perisic, 28 years of age. I don't know why that's an issue for anybody. I think he's over 6 foot. I think he might be 6'2" actually. So that's great for a winger. Chelsea have just bought Rudiger. There's a lovely little clip there where he gives him 2 L's, just like we've given Chelsea. So that makes him a United player straight away. Very skillful, very two-footed as well. And whatever you think about Manchester United, I would throw 2 things about people who don't want Perisic. One, who do you want? And I could probably argue with you that they don't have all the traits, the attributes that Perisic has. Douglas Costa, very good, very skillful player, very good at take-ons, very good at assists, but he's not as hard-working, he's not tall, and he's not two-footed. He's not as two-footed as Perisic. So everybody you can throw at me, then I will say, well, Perisic is probably better suited to what Mourinho wants. Now, of course, I would take Ousmane Dembele every day of the week over Perisic because I think he would be one of the best players in the world. But I think Perisic will come to United, and I think that the reality is his experience will be very important because we do need that. Rooney and Zlatan gone. I'll be very interested to see what we pay for him, but let's see what happens. Fabinho, I think, is very interesting. Fabinho is very interesting because he's a player that I've wanted all summer and a lot of United fans have. Apparently, he's come out today and said that he wants to move. He's told Monaco he wants to move, which, you know what, with all due respect, fair play to him, because this is exactly what Morata should have done if he wanted to move to Manchester United, and it's exactly what Perisic should have done. Go public with you wanting a move, and it will make that move happen, because you can't stay at a club when you come out and say you want to move, and it helps the buying club no end. Rojo did it, and lots of other players have done it in the past, and Fabinho's clearly going to do it now. My theory on Fabinho is that he probably will go to PSG, though. PSG, when they go public on deals, tend to know they've got the deal done, and they have apparently put in 2 bids for Fabinho. All we can cling on to is what Dimarzio said about 2 weeks ago. I think it was on a Friday night that we had bid for Fabinho. It's gone very quiet around him. He did that Brazilian interview, didn't he, where he said he'd be interested in coming to Manchester United. Look, whether he's third choice or not, I don't really care about that because he would be my first choice. If you believe the rumours, then Mourinho's first choices are Eric Dyer then Matic, and then maybe Fabinho, or maybe Nainggolan's ahead of them. Another one with an eye. But if we end up getting Mourinho's fourth choice, Fabinho, I don't care because it's my first choice. I still would be a little bit negative because I think Fabinho would be a signing that would really please a lot of me and a lot of fans. I bet he'll end up going to PSG, but apparently he's liked one of our posts as well. That's if Monaco will sell to PSG, says Dan Butterworth. Well, they'll have to sell to somebody. When a player wants to go, it's a bit like Robin van Persie, isn't it? Arsenal didn't want to sell him to Manchester United, but Robin van Persie wanted to leave. So that's what happens. That's how it goes. James Rodriguez. I mean, James Rodriguez. How long is a piece of string? How long is a piece of string? Jared Pesserman, just before I come to Rodriguez, he's made a contribution. Thanks for that on the Super Chats. And he says, I've got a feeling the next signing is going to be Bakayoko from Monaco. Yeah, this has started to build again. We probably will sign Bakayoko because if I'm totally honest with you, we seem to be going after players that I personally, and I don't know how you feel, don't want at Manchester United. I didn't want Lukaku. I'm not unhappy with Lukaku, but he wasn't in my top 5 of what I would have wanted at Manchester United. And as I said, Mourinho wanted Morata, so you don't always get your first choice, do you? So I think Lukaku will be a good signing. Maybe Bakayoko could turn to be a good signing as well. Maybe I'll be proved wrong on that. In fact, this is, I haven't deleted it. There's a tweet out there somewhere. I think it's on the United Stand account where I said, I think around February time, start of February, Bakayoko is exactly the midfielder we need, and we will win the league next year, because I thought he was a very much like a sort of Kante destroyer. But when I've watched him over the last few months, I've really, football's all about, life's all about changing your mind, and I would love to have been consistent with what I said at the start of February, that he can be the problem solver in our midfield. But to be honest, I had to change it because I watched him so many times in the last few months of the season, and he was like a dog lost. He was really awful. Positional sense, awful, slow. I couldn't actually see why you'd buy Bakayoko when you've got Fellaini, and that would worry me about him. But again, Mourinho loves big people. He's heightist, and we need somebody who's got a bit of pace about them. And Fabinho certainly is a bit. I think Fabinho's the better midfielder at Monaco, so why not go for him? But Bakayoko could happen, although that's in the Sun, and Neil Custis from the Sun has been very, very good, I must say. But I don't think he's reported that. And he doesn't have an I in his name, says Khalid, so it's definitely not going to be Bakayoko. We need Fabinho, as a lot of people are saying. I nearly called him something else. You'll know what I nearly called him in a minute. Mega Gabby Boy says, we're not in for James. Stop talking about him. Also, the press are saying we're going for Bakayoko just because we want to get Chelsea snubbed again. Mega Gabby Boy, we're not in for James. Let's talk about him. And Ziad Broker, I want to talk about Zlatan. We'll come back to that. Good point. We are in a situation where with James Rodriguez, it just keeps getting better and better and better. Hold on. I wouldn't mind that. Somebody's just sent us a request. It's getting better and better with Rodriguez because it's consistently been going on all summer, and still it's still going on. I mean, it was on Saturday. You're going to be signing in the next 48 hours, and it's now he's linked to Liverpool again today. I don't think James Rodriguez will come to Manchester United, although I would be very, very happy if he did come to Manchester United because he's a very good player. He'll be 26 by the time the season starts, but I think he's got a lot to prove. I think when he's played for Real Madrid last season, he's done very well. But I do think that he is a player that Manchester United could benefit from. But my only issue with Rodriguez has always been he doesn't actually have a lot of pace to him, and I think we do need a bit of pace. And what I would go back to with Perisic there is that it's all right saying we don't need Perisic, but when I look at Manchester United's current setup, when you look at that US tour, whether you've looked at it going on the bottom or you've looked at it from the show we did before, it's severely lacking in midfield. There's loads of defenders and there's not enough midfielders, and there's certainly not a lot of width with pace. I mean, our width, pace, I've got a lift now, our width with pace is basically Martial, Lingard and Ashley Young. Well, Ashley Young, I saw a great tweet today. I mean, I shouldn't say this because I haven't got a problem with Ashley Young other than I would sell him. But somebody tweeted out, I won't name them because it's not fair, at Minimum Marshall I think it was, and he said, what is Ashley Young doing on that plane? £120,000 a week he gets paid at Manchester United. He's the best hide-and-seek footballer ever. And I think what he means by that is that, you know, he's stealing a living, really, because he doesn't really offer us that much. And I think Ashley Young, realistically, at this, if we're going to sell Rooney, we should sell Ashley Young. He really is a Bournemouth player at best. So he's out of the equation. Lingard is very, very average, and Martial didn't have a good year last year. So I think, you know, that's for two flanks. We need to get another winger in, and that's why I would really, really, really like us to get Perisic, because we do need to get a winger in, and I think he ticks all the boxes of what Mourinho wants in relation to hard working. Shubik has made a contribution. He says, Mark, love your show. We will sign Perisic, hopefully. Willian is also a good option. Mourinho likes Willian. Well, he is a good option. You're very, very right, Shurek. But we won't be signing Willian because I don't think Chelsea will sell us anything now, which I'm perfectly happy with because I don't want Matic anyway. So, although Chelsea will probably be watching all United content going, sell them Matic, because that will really annoy people, which hopefully they won't do, but we'll wait and see. Just on Zlatan, a few people saying about Zlatan coming to Manchester United. Well, it's interesting about that. Paul, can you hear me?
I can indeed. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but I think straight away it's lagging a bit, but we'll give it a try. You did sort of sound like a robot a little bit there, but give us your thoughts on the US tour squad. What are your thoughts?
Well, my first thoughts were we are looking a bit defence heavy. Yeah. I was looking at the list of the squad, and half of them are defenders. We're very light going forward. I mean, you've got Rashford as the only striker. Obviously, we brought Lukaku in, but we can't just rely on the two of those for the whole of the season if we're going to be competing on all fronts. So I do think that we're looking a bit light in that department. But it's very much kind of what I expected to see, considering the players that we have got. I'm looking forward to seeing the likes of Andreas Pereira, see what McTominay can offer. It's going to be big for Martial and Shaw. I read a tweet a little while ago, earlier on today in fact, that apparently the medical staff at Carrington are impressed with the effort that Shaw's been putting in to get fit. His attitude is very good. So hopefully we can see him come back into the limelight and perform. I don't know if he's fit though to actually be playing on tour. Do we know if he's fit?
Well, I know Rojo's not, and he has taken people that are just, I think, you know, bit of camaraderie. Rojo cannot be fit. I can't see how Rojo can be anywhere near fit. He only did his injury, end of March, early April, and we're 2 or 3 months later, he can't be anywhere near fitness if he's done his knee like they say he has. But my understanding is that Ashley Young's still quite injured as well, so I think they've just gone to be part of the setup, which is I don't have a problem with. I've just got to read a comment actually, Paul. We've got a super chat from Mr. USA 2025. He says, I love the way you're not afraid to say things how they are, and you're doing a fantastic job getting everyone involved with the channel. Well, thanks for that comment. And that's how we do it on the United Stand. We want everyone to get involved. I just want to bring it back a step, Paul, because I think it seems to be working okay. Maybe, like Alex says, 2 guests might be the problem that causes it to collapse. So drop a like on the video for all those who missed the one before. We're up and running on the Sunday Night Live show now, which is great. One thing I did want to say, because I think everyone's had their say on Rooney, obviously, but I just want to give a shout out to Jose Mourinho, really. I saw the picture of him yesterday at Old Trafford. I think somewhere there was some photo near United. It might have been Carrington or the Superstore. And he looks very thin and gaunt, and obviously he's lost his dad, which is a big major event in his life, and Manchester United is the most stressful job in England by a long way. He's probably not got the signings that he wants to come in, and I think he'll be feeling the pressure a little bit. But what I wanted to say is Mourinho deserves a hell of a lot of credit. You very rarely get what's happened with Wayne Rooney, where somebody who's been a club great, legend, whatever you want to call them, their exit to be managed so well and professionally that we are basically sending him off still pretty much, you know, he's not finished. He's going to a Premier League rival. He's going back to his boyhood club, and we're all applauding him and saying him all the best. What a great servant you've been. I think the way Mourinho's managed that is just sensational, and I think it's not really been mentioned enough that, you know, I think Mourinho's probably wanted rid of him for quite a while, and but the way he's handled this and manoeuvred it for Rooney very respectably has been fantastic.
I think what you could say is that he's done what the previous two managers were too afraid to do, and that's drop him. He gave him a chance at the beginning of the season, last season, in a sort of a decent run towards the beginning, and then, you know, he wasn't performing, so then he spent most of the rest of the season on the sidelines, and rightly so. And previous managers have been too afraid to do that. So I think, you would take your hat off to Mourinho for actually managing the players. You know, all this, you know, no player is bigger than the club, and he's done the right thing. Because if he had done what the last two managers had did and carried on playing him throughout the season, and he was underperforming and not scoring goals, people had been on his back all the time. So in a way, you could kind of say that Mourinho's protected him by not playing him and allowed him to leave gracefully.
Yeah, I'd agree. Anyway, let's go back to the tour. I mean, I just wanted to give Jose a shout out there because, you know, I've seen Beckham go and that was very subdued. Ronaldo went and, you know, it wasn't managed like this, and I think he's managed it really, really well. And let's be honest, Rooney's last two years especially have not been very good. I think the way the club, the fans and the manager have handled it, rightly so, because he has been a great for us, and I'll certainly forget the last 3 years in favour of what he did before that. But it's been managed very, very well. I do wish him all the best, and I think the way Everton have handled it is very exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing him next season, but that's Everton's problem, and I'll certainly be watching them. But back to the US tour, you were mentioning Pereira there. Going back to what I was talking about at the start, you said it yourself. I said it this afternoon on the video. That squad looks very defender heavy, and it looks very midfielder light to me. You mentioned McTominay. I'm going to be really harsh and say he hasn't got a future at Manchester United. He's in that squad to fill spots where we're very short because we haven't got the players in Mourinho wants. No,
okay. I can't really disagree with you there. McTominay probably hasn't got much to offer, but I haven't really seen him. So for me, and probably a lot of others as well, who don't really know much about him, but let's see what he can offer. You never know, he might surprise us. But the main man, I think, that we're all looking forward to seeing is Andreas Pereira. Because I've got a very unpopular opinion on Pereira. I can't get as excited about him as everyone else does. There was the summer 2 years ago, that pre-season, when he was fantastic, but that's the only time I've seen him. And I've seen lots of players perform excellently during a pre-season tournament, but then go on to be rubbish for the rest of their career.
So are you basing that on the fact that you just haven't really seen him play, or is it you've just not seen anything good after that?
No, this is what I mean. I haven't seen him play. Right, so okay. The only time I've actually seen him play is during that pre-season. I haven't really followed him whilst he's been out on loan. All I hear is that he's been good. Nothing to say he's set La Liga on fire or anything like that. But because everyone is so, you know, working him up and building him up, I'm very keen to see that.
Yeah, I just want to say, a lot of people are saying this is a good caller. Paul's probably not been on for a long time, but he's part of the United Stand. He runs the website and he does the podcast with Ash. Very, very good podcast. So yeah, Paul's very much part of the United Stand. He just doesn't come on the YouTube that often, so it's good to have him on. We've got another live chat, super chat I've got to read. So David Carey says, "Hi Mark, we need a player who is good at set pieces. Also, I think Rodriguez would be a good fit as he can play along the attacking midfield." We're going to come back to the signings in a minute because that's what I'm sort of building up to with Paul, how we're light in midfield and we're heavy in defence. But I do want to touch on Pereira. Oh, there's another super chat here. Shubak says, "Mark, maybe Mourinho has plans for Andreas Pereira. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get a CAM. Probably we will end up getting a CDM and a right winger because Pereira can challenge Mkhitaryan and Mata." Thanks for that comment, that super chat, Shubak. I wouldn't disagree. Coming back to what Paul said, I obviously have. I am a massive fan of Pereira. I agree, on the US tour a couple of years ago, that's probably where everyone's seen him, and he was very good. Last season he played a pre-season preview against Wigan and he actually came on in the second half and played the Carrick role and scored a goal. I was stunned, Paul. I'd never seen him in that position and I thought, bloody hell, you know, he could be a centre defensive midfielder. He was that good, but it was Wigan. And then on to
be fair, I did actually see that game and I was impressed with him in that game.
Yeah, but that's pre-season again. I agree with you. Coming back to what you're on about La Liga, I probably watched him play about 10 times last season. His career last year really does mirror Januzaj. They both went to rubbish clubs, one in the Liga, one in the Premier League. Pereira, in a rubbish club that got relegated, came in the top 5, and I'm not a stat man, but this is a decent one for those who are. He came in the top 5 for take-ons in the La Liga. Well, you could probably name 10 good players in La Liga that you'd think he'd be behind. So that's one stat in a relegated team. And he actually pretty much was one of their man of the matches every game. He had a really, really, really good season. I've always felt he was good. I've always felt he can be a United first team player. It's massive. I'm not opposed if he goes on the US tour, has a good tour again like 2 years ago. I think Mourinho's just there to have a look at him. He said after the Wigan game last year, I really like him and Twansibi. I think he'll have a look at him and he will think, can he be part of my first team bench, maybe? Or does he need to go on loan to a Premier League club where he's playing week in, week out? I think that's the consideration with Pereira. Can he be a first team player for Manchester United? Or does he now need another year in a first team Premier League club? Maybe, I don't know, Bournemouth or someone like that.
But this is the thing. The reason I'm excited to see him is twofold, really. One of them, obviously, is because of all the hype and what you've just said then about how good he was in a poor team abroad. And the other reason is because you look at other fringe players or loanees like Januzaj, and what's the name of that young lad who scored that goal? Harrop.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, so you've got those two. They've gone. But there's no talk of Andreas Pereira leaving or going on loan. He's come back, he's in the tour, he's going off to America. So Jose's brought him back. And I've also read as well that Jose maintained a lot of contact with him. Because I think Pereira did an interview, didn't he, saying, I've been in regular contact with United and Jose Mourinho, which is good for him.
Yeah.
So he still feels like he's part of it all. Jose's brought him back, he's taken him on tour. There's absolutely zero talk of him getting another season out on loan or even being sold. So that tells me again that obviously the club sees something in him, which just adds to the excitement. And I'm looking forward to seeing him play again in this pre-season and hopefully have a decent amount of minutes during the next season.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I'm not opposed to Pereira going on loan again in the Premier League next year because I'd watch him every week. But I hope, it's a massive jump to do it, but I hope he can do it. And, Januzaj's going out the exit door and he played in the Premier League and Pereira, I think, has got a massive chance in front of Mourinho. There's a few super chats reading through that I just need to cover on. But what was I going to say about Pereira? It's totally gone out of my mind, so let me read these. Robert John Woolacote Carter says, Mark, I think Jose intends to use Blind as a centre defensive midfielder. I think that's a big myth, Robert, but not a myth. I think it's a bit like signing William Carvalho. It comes up every single summer, but it never ever happens. But thanks for the contribution. I like Daley Blind, but I don't see him as a centre defensive midfielder because he's too one-footed and I don't think he's quick enough. Jonathan Gorbett says, thanks Jonathan, he says, think we should push Mkhitaryan to centre attacking midfield. He's fast but now not winger fast, and put Perisic on the right wing because he's double-footed, and give Martial time on the left. That's an interesting one, Paul. We'll come back to that. And Shubak again.
Sorry, say that one again.
Let me just read this one and I'll come back. Shubak says, Mark, maybe Mourinho has plans for Andreas Pereira. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a CAM role. Probably will end up getting a centre defensive midfielder and a right winger. Pereira can challenge Mkhitaryan and Mata. I'd already done that one. I don't know why that's popped up again. No, he was just saying that maybe we might see Mkhitaryan move to a more central attacking midfield role, which personally I think is his best position. We might see Perisic come in and go on the right because he's two-footed, and Martial on the left.
That's a decent shout. The formation that I would really like to see United play is 4-3-3 or 4-1-2-3. So you've got the one holding, the two more advanced midfielders, i.e. Pogba, and in this case Mkhitaryan. I think that would be fantastic. Then where does Herrera come into it? Perisic on the right. Again, I don't know if he's two-footed. I only know him as a left winger. But again, by doing that, you do allow Martial then to come in. But I don't think Jose trusts Martial enough to start as a main starter. So I think if Perisic does come in, he will definitely be on the left. And it'll be up to him and Martial then to competition essentially to fight out. But yeah, Mkhitaryan in a more advanced central role, absolutely.
I just read a comment there from Gary Neville. It's a quote, and I don't know. I'm going to bring that back in because I think it's a really interesting point. And at the end of the show, we always like to last week it was, what is your what is the opinion you never tell anybody because you know it's controversial? And that certainly generated a bit of debate. I think this one will, so we'll definitely come back to it. But what I wanted to talk about, because we were on about the US tour squad and how it's light in the midfield and heavy in the defence. Lukaku's part of the squad, everyone. I know he's not part of the squad at the moment. That's because you can't put somebody in the squad who's not officially a United player. And I think they're waiting for the Manchester United squad to get over there to announce him. He's passed the medical. He will be a player and he will be part of that squad, so don't worry about that. Oh, I know what I was going to say before I come to the next point. My mind's buzzing at the moment. So you were talking about how Pereira, hope he gets a lot of minutes on the US tour. The great thing I like about the US tour and the way it works like this last time, we play early hours of Sunday morning against LA Galaxy. Then we play early hours of Tuesday morning, 48 hours later against Real Salt Lake. We've only got a squad of about 27. So what he will do is he'll probably play, well, he's going to use nearly all of those players over 2 games because it's 48 hours. So everyone should get about 90 minutes in the first 2 games. So it's a great opportunity for people to show their class, which I'm sure Pereira will. But as I said, midfielders. Do you expect us to be making any signings very, very soon in the immediate future? And who would you have, and who do you think we will get?
I do expect it, absolutely. I'm pretty sure Mourinho would have liked to have had the deals done by now, but it can't always happen like that. But I would fully expect maybe not another striker per se, but at least another attacking player with goals in them. For example, Rodriguez, I would take him. Again, I don't watch him in and out, but reading up on him and looking at his stats, he's always providing assists as well as scoring goals, and that's what you want from an attacking midfielder. So Rodriguez would definitely be one of them, or someone similar. And I would also be bringing in somebody to free up the beast that is Paul Pogba. And my ideal candidate for that would be Fabinho. I think he's probably pretty much the only one who's readily available, who I would go for, and he's clearly open to the move. And I got a feeling that we are in for him, even though it's all a bit quiet at the moment. I think that a deal's being done behind closed doors. There's no rumours of anybody else other than PSG going in for him, and they don't want to sell to PSG. We've got the monetary bicep to flex, and we can throw money at them. And I think a deal will be done for Fabinho very soon. Rodriguez, again, it's Real Madrid, so I don't know if it will happen, but I would like it to. But those are the 2 midfield players that I'd want to be seen brought in this week.
Yeah, I was just having a little bit of a read there because there's a lot of people in the live comments saying that the deal's been done for Perisic, and Di Marzio has confirmed that. There's nothing new to that news. The deal hasn't really been done. It's almost a half-truth, or even not a truth, because what Di Marzio said is there's an agreement's been reached, but they've not sorted out the price. Well, I don't know what agreement they've sorted out then, because if we've not agreed the price, then we've not sorted a deal out. I think Perisic will come to United, but if we don't agree on a price, then we don't agree on a price. And I think probably an agreement was sorted out for Morata, but we just couldn't sort the price out. So I'm not too sure what's going on with that one. But I do agree with you about Fabinho. I would love Fabinho to come to Manchester United. I think he's the most doable one. But I just think that maybe he's not first choice. I think that's the problem. I think Mourinho's first choice is not Fabinho. Maybe it is Eric Dyer. Maybe it's Matic. But I'm hoping on this occasion, I think Fabinho will be the right one.
Well, I hope so. When I look at the other candidates, Dyer, Matic, I just think, well, Matic is, he's not the youngest. Dyer is young, but he doesn't really excite me. You look at Fabinho, he's young, powerful, tall. He's got all the attributes that you want in a CDM. And I've watched him a lot on, just to make people laugh, YouTube videos. You can never judge a player on YouTube videos, but I couldn't help myself. I watched Fabinho play, and he's just unreal. He's got, Mourinho likes his big, tall players. You look at the players he's got, Bailly, Lukaku, Pogba. Fabinho just fits right in. He just fits right in. He's the only candidate for me for that position, and I just have complete faith in Mourinho that he's of the same mindset, and that something's going on in the background and the deal will be done. I'm so confident of it. maybe more hopeful than confident. I'll be disappointed if we sign anybody other than Fabinho for that position.
I think you're right as well, because I think if you had a box of everything that you want in a centre defensive midfielder, so for me it would be, a bit of strength and height would be great. Tick for Fabinho. You can tick Matic and Dyer for that one, and Bakayoko. A bit of pace, get around the pitch quick. Well, Fabinho, yes. Matic, no. Bakayoko, no. Dyer, no. So yeah, an ability to move the ball around.
Fabinho's got a goal in him as well.
Yeah. And he's the better passer. I mean, I think he's the better passer. And he can move with the ball well, which Matic can, to be fair. But here's a question for you. I'm just going to go through the Super Chats because there's been a few that I've missed. So Rahul Matthew says, Griezmann's dropped his agent. Does that mean anything for us? Thoughts, Paul? Do you think that means anything? I think what he's getting at, does that mean we're going to get Griezmann this summer? Which I think no.
Read that one out again. Sorry, I was actually reading a live comment as you said it.
So Griezmann's dropped his agent, apparently.
Oh, right, okay. There has been some talk that he could join up with us next summer. I guess it all depends on who we bring in this year. Because I think we were set to bring Griezmann in this summer. We didn't. I think if we would have, I don't think we would have signed Lukaku. I don't think we would have been in for Morata or Belotti. I think if we would have brought Griezmann in, he probably would have been used as a main striker. So yeah, I think, is he going to join us in January or next summer? I really don't know. I think it will depend on who we bring in this summer, because what you've got to think about as well, the players that we're going to be looking at now, bringing in now, when they're in talks with Man United officials, Griezmann's going to come up. If I signed for you now, you're going to be bringing in Griezmann next summer, because obviously if you bring him in, you're not going to spend 100 million for a player to put him on the bench. He's going to be starting ahead of me, and that's, you know what I mean? So I think it all depends on what calibre of player we bring in this summer.
I'd agree. I've just had a direct message on Twitter, actually. I'm not going to name the person because it's not fair to do it. It makes them sound a bit eager and greedy, but they're right to message me. I did promise 3 United home shirts to be given away on the live stream tonight. I totally forgot about it because of the problem we had with the other live stream. I don't propose to do that at the end of the video because that's pointless. If you're going to do some sort of giveaway like that, you need to have it at the start of the video so it sort of promotes the channel up a little bit, I suppose. So we will do that. Might do it on Skype Goldbridge tomorrow night at 8:30, but we're definitely going to do it because we're going to do it. But as a little bit of a saver, a little bit of I can't think of the word, but basically, just so there is something, if you are on Facebook, the United Stand link to Facebook should, he says, with hope, be in the video description, or I think it's United Stand MUFC on Facebook, but I'm sure the link is in the video description. If you go and click on there, we are actually doing a shirt giveaway on Facebook as well at the moment. The last post we put on, all you've got to do is like the post and follow us on Facebook, and we're going to pick a winner off that tomorrow morning. Because we do a different transfer update on there on Facebook as well, different to YouTube, so follow us on Facebook. So yeah, we are doing a shirt giveaway. We'll do it on YouTube at some point, but if you fancy getting in the Facebook one, that's in the link in the video description as well. So thanks for reminding me about that. Schubach's made another contribution. He's busy tonight. He says, Mark, Pereira is Brazilian, and I'm sure if he gets the opportunity, he can become the next Coutinho. I'm sure he will. Love from India. Well, I actually did say, and the tweet's out there, that it'll pop up when I lose again, because they always do. It's a bit like my Lukaku and the Chelsea inflatable barriers one. But I stand by it. I'm not... I had my concerns about his first touch, but I back him as a United player now.
Just really quickly.
Go on.
Just looking at the live comments, and there was a lad called Luke who put a comment on there saying Griezmann main striker ? And I kind of see where he's coming from. As I was saying it, I was thinking actually would he have been the main striker? But he has played there before, so you never know. But no, I get your point, Luke, and you're probably right.
Thank you for that. Bring home the little P. Bring home the little P, says Shrews 1990. And Pereira is class. Yeah, I actually said that Pereira will be better than Coutinho. I don't always get it right, but I think he will be. And Price Sansom, thank you, Price. He says Herrera, CDM, could do a job. Herrera was doing the job as a centre defensive midfielder last season. He can do a very good job there, but I think he's better elsewhere. I think we need a specialist centre defensive midfielder with Herrera and Pogba in front of him. I don't really want to see Herrera centre defensive midfielder because he can do a job there, like you say. but I don't think he'll be one of the best ones in Europe. I think he's better with a bit more. I mean, Herrera's got a brilliant cross on him. I like to see Herrera a bit more advanced. Your typical box to box. But I want to go back to this comment that I said I would. Let me see if I can get it up. Oh, that's what she said. Bleacher Report. I'm sure it was on Bleacher Report. Let me have a look. Maybe it wasn't on there. Anyway, to cut a long story short and crack on with the show, effectively, it was a quote from Gary Neville, and I don't know whether Gary Neville's come out with it today. I think I've heard it before, so it might not be today. But it was along the lines of Wayne Rooney, the best striker I've ever played with. And it got me thinking, you know, in this moment of nostalgia where we're looking back on Rooney's great moments and forgetting the bad moments of the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years maybe. But, you know, definitely looking back at those great years. It really got me thinking, Paul, is he the best striker that Gary Neville... I mean, Gary Neville thinks it is, but if I think of Gary Neville's career at Manchester United and who he's played with, is Rooney the best striker he's played with? I mean, I'm sort of thinking it through in my head now, and I know the live comments are going to start going off, but off the top of my head straight away, he definitely played with Cantona. He definitely played with Van Nistelrooy. I don't know whether you could class Ronaldo as a striker.
I think Ronaldo was more of a winger, but yeah, the first name that came to my head was Van Nistelrooy. But you can see what like Neville says that. I mean, you think of Rooney back in his heyday, he was absolutely fantastic, unstoppable. So you know, there's an argument for it for sure. But Van Nistelrooy, again, you know, when he came in, he just he did what Van Nistelrooy does and scores loads of goals, and he was a fantastic striker. But I think Wayne Rooney is more the complete footballer, so maybe that aspect of his game swung Gary Neville's opinion, but there's definitely an argument for it.
I'd say I'm reading the comments as we're talking, just to sort of, you know, you sort of start adding up in your head. Van Nistelrooy's definitely kicking the donkey, so to speak, because he is coming out. But I think what I would say is, and you sort of touched on it there, is that Ruud van Nistelrooy was definitely the best striker we've had at United in the last 20 years, without a doubt. You know, unbelievable goals to game ratio, and a very different striker in a way, because give him a chance he'd put it away, but he could score goals just running with the ball as well. He was quite a skillful player, a phenomenal player. Should never have gone when he did fall out again with Sir Alex, and also would have been with us a year earlier if he hadn't done his knee injury. So fantastic player Van Nistelrooy was. But I think what, you know, Gary Neville's always very protective of the English players, and I think that probably sways him. But also, Rooney as a striker, I don't really see Rooney as a striker, and I know he is a striker, but I don't see him as a striker because he was much more than that. He was, you know, he was playing at right back sometimes. He was all over the pitch. He was an enigma. He was an inspiration, passionate player, on the edge. You know, I always remember Rooney as his best at Manchester United, and that was for me probably the first 5 years he was at the club, where he still had a lot of pace, that burst of pace. He would run at players, very aggressive, score all sorts of goals. That's the Rooney I remember. Even the Rooney of 2011, I think it was, when he was playing up front and he scored a load of goals, and then he got injured against Bayern Munich in the quarter-final. He was pretty much playing as an out-and-out striker then, but I still don't think that was as good as the Rooney of the first 5 years, where basically you could play him anywhere. You know, I know he wasn't a United player in the Euro 2004, but that's the Rooney I remember, because that's the Rooney that really made me sit up and notice and think this is the best English talent I've seen since Paul Gascoigne. He can run at players, he's got the lot, he's aggressive, he's exciting, and I think that's what I'll always remember Rooney for. So yeah, I don't disagree with Gary Neville, but I think out and out striker, somebody to put the ball in the back of the net, I couldn't move away from Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah, no, I agree with you as well, Van Nistelrooy. But like I said, yeah, you know, there's an argument for Wayne Rooney when you look back at his earlier days, and yeah, or either that or Gary Neville's completely forgot about Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah, definitely. We've just gone to 110,500 subscribers as well. Somebody just said on the live comments, which is fantastic, which means we're still getting more and more new people watching, which is fantastic. So I hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. I'm indebted to Paul for coming on and making sure that it's not my Skype that's broke. I'm apologetic to Alex and Ross. I'm sure we'll be able to sort it out. It was something I'll sort out in the week. Please do drop a like on the video. I enjoy the Sunday night. It's nice having a regular sort of guest on from the United Stand team. Tomorrow night at 8:30 is the Skype show. Unscripted, it's yours. Just call in, we'll take your call, see what you've got to say. But good to have you back on, Paul, and tell us what you're up to, because I know we've got a problem with the website actually at the moment. I need to sort that out. So I don't want to promote the website when it's down, but the podcast is still going?
Yeah, the podcast is very much going. We've been doing it sort of bi-weekly at the moment because we don't want to keep talking about the same transfer news every week. But there will be one this Tuesday. Football is back next week, so we will be going back to weekly podcasts. It's every Tuesday we record, so it gets published on a Tuesday night. Although saying that, there may not be one this week actually, because as of today, the website is down, and obviously we use the website to actually publish the podcast and share it across all the various platforms. So there may not be one this week, but follow the United Stand podcast Twitter account, which is @UnitedStandPod. Follow that account for updates, or you can follow me at Paul Gardner LP, because I always tweet about the podcast on there as well. But yeah, Mark, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to be on here. I'll try and come on a bit more often. I know I say that a lot, but I don't want you to get me and Ross confused again like you normally do. But yeah, cheers for the love, everybody in the comments. Yeah.
If it's just audio, I know who you are. It's when I've had you on the screen I get mixed up.
But no, yeah, thanks for having me on, and thanks to everybody in the comments for the love.
Cheers, Paul. Thanks for calling.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, the podcast is great. I don't promote it enough. The website is great. It's just down at the moment. There's a lot of stuff going on there at the moment. It isn't my full-time job, Amanth, which just reminded me, Ross, it's not his full-time job. Paul, everybody like that, Drawty, who gets involved. It is just fans. And we want to keep it like that because I think it makes us real, it makes us raw, it makes us passionate. If it's your full-time job, I think you've got to be very, very careful, because it's like everything you do, you're sort of like, well, we don't want to upset them, we don't want to upset them, and we don't want to upset you, but we also want to come on and be true and just say what we really think, and not think, well, one day I might say something where everyone just goes, he's an idiot, I don't want to watch that channel anymore. And if that happens, we shut it down. I carry on doing my job, it doesn't matter. So doing it full time, I don't agree with it, but others do. I've really enjoyed the show tonight. We've had a lot of people watching. Please do drop a like. I don't know why we've not hit 1,000 likes tonight, because there's over 4,000 watching at one point, which is amazing. We will be back tomorrow night at 8:30. Well, I will be back at 7 a.m. with the Transfer Daily. I forgot about that. That's back tomorrow, isn't it? So Transfer Daily at 7 a.m. At some point, Lukaku will sign. So we'll react to that, of course, because we've got to. But actually, I'm looking forward to reacting to Lukaku signing, because we've done a few videos about Lukaku this weekend. And I was like, I want to find a different angle for this. So I've got an angle for it, for Lukaku signing, which is going to be very interesting, which I've not really heard anybody talk about. And it's a positive thing about Lukaku. Hopefully this week, as we go into the working week, obviously, boo-hoo. But when we went into last week, we were talking about Morata. When we came out of it, we had Lukaku. Let's see what we come out of this week out with. If we can come out with 2, Perisic and Fabinho, I'll be very happy. If we come out with more, I'll be ecstatic. If we come out with 1, it's okay. But let's try and get these deals done before the LA Galaxy game next weekend, because then we can get them over there, embedded in this new squad, this new page, this new chapter in Manchester United's history. For the first time in many years, we are going into a season without the enigma Wayne Rooney. And that, to some people, is scary. But for me, I find it exciting. It's the right time. It's sad. But when you're a little bit older, you get used to Robsons, Keanes, Cantonars, Beckhams, Ronaldos, Van Nistelrooys leaving the club. And the club always carries on. So don't be scared. You can't change what's been and gone. Let's get moving on. And let's keep following this club, Manchester United, that we all love. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I'll speak to you all. I might be back later. I don't know. Sometimes something happens late at night, but hopefully not. I want to get some sleep tonight. Sebastian was keeping me up last night. Very, very tired. But we'll be back at 7 a.m. tomorrow, because that's before work. That's fine. And we'll obviously react throughout the day if anything happens. Could be something happening tomorrow. You never know. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We still didn't hit 1,000 likes. I kept rambling on in the hope that you would just click the like button. But obviously, you haven't enjoyed the show as much as I have. But thanks to everybody. I really enjoyed tonight. I know we had a problem at the start, but we rectified it. You hang in there. That's what you get with live TV. And you stand by us, and that's all that matters. So thanks for watching. You got to close it.